and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive. Always honest answers.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Our first jersey auction of the season is Saturday, November 9th at 6:05 p.m. when the Lincoln Stars host the Fargo Force for Military Appreciation Night at the Icebox. Stick around afterwards for a post-game jersey auction. Proceeds from the auction benefit Hero Stock, and you can get your tickets now at lincolnstars.com.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NEBCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
That's right. Strick and Austin. I'm back. I made it. I survived. Stricky, it's been a weird week for you, boy. I've been in and out. But that's why I appreciate not shaky Stricky, steady Stricky.
Steady Stricky.
Holding down the fort. How are you, my friend? I will do that. It's actually good. And to be honest, it is, we love and we miss Rico and the crew. Triggy Nicky, happy hour was a wonderful. We had some wonderful crossover moments. One day if we could put together a hodgepodge of just different videos of us sitting here clowning and wilding, I think that would be actually funny. But so it's good every now and then to be able to catch up with Nick and sit down and have some good conversations. And we definitely it was some pretty good deep conversations with some implications involved, and talked about the playoffs, and we talked about the Huskers and the situation. We talked about what's going on with Florida. Ooh. Now I think that could be a discussion that, because we did kind of probe that situation, but I think it's interesting to see if that's the beginning of potentially what's to come. And I've got a part that I would love to hear your thought on it and just my perspective, but I definitely would love to hear your perspective, because guess what? We've got Freestyle Friday anyway going on. So there's, it's definitely something that it can be a touch, because I think there's a couple of pieces that, on the angle of your vision and as well as how I view it, I think it's worth having that conversation. How was Coach Hoiberg? Nick didn't scare him off for the future?
No, man. Coach Hoiberg came in here.
Is he bringing a siege in next time?
We've talked about that. I did make that request, and he came and we showed him around. What's going on here at the ticket, and he sat down and we had a very candid and open conversation. Talked about the past, talked about our battles, the old Hilton Magic, and coming in here, and some little bit of our NBA stuff, and just the importance of what it is and how you coach guys now compared to when he was at Iowa State. Yeah. Just some of those changes and adjustments as far as that you have to make as a staff, and
and how it looks without Rink and what they're trying to accomplish and the things that they're trying to do early in the season. Being deep and what that means and those communication, the way that they must communicate with their guys to make sure that there's understanding and there's not frustration there, and ultimately to get them on the path and headed the right direction. So it was really good.
Appreciate Coach coming down. That's awesome.
Yeah. We'll have to do it again.
For sure. Big thanks to Nebco for sponsoring the show, Sartor Heyman Jewelers for their sponsorship of our video streams on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, as well as our text line at 402-464-5685. Here's this from Cubsker. Stricky starting us off here on a Freestyle Friday. What's up, Austin and Strick? What's up, Cubsker? Welcome in. I'm going to start out by saying I'm protesting Billy Donovan and saying, Stricky for Bulls head coach. Please save us. You in?
Man.
You in? JJ Redick 2.0? Show him how it's done?
I'm going to leave that to Toronto. I will be honest. I will be honest, though. I would prefer to coach professional than college. Not that I don't like it and wouldn't do it and so forth and so on, but Cubsker, I think I would agree. Now, my issue with NBA part, though, that I don't, super political, and I can't stand that part of it. You know what I mean?
Well, isn't college political too?
In some forms.
Different kind of political?
Different type of political, but yes, they all things have some form of politics, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there needs to be some things done regarding NFL football refereeing. It's something going on now. Now it's bad, and it's getting to a point now where it's looking very egregious. I don't know if they're getting complacent. I don't know if they're, on their high horse and just feel that they can do it's something crazy right now going on in that form. And so there's politics involved in that too.
Mm-hmm.
You get comfortable with certain amount of guys, you believe in certain guys in certain games, and there's that part of it too. So
there absolutely is. I mean, again, more controversy last night in the Bengals-Ravens game. They'll contact at the goal line on that last play, last drive, hands to the face mask. You could have been called on the Ravens. But how about this, Stricky? Only 2 times in NFL history, 2 times, has a quarterback had 30 or more completions, 300 or more passing yards, 4 or more touchdown passes, multiple touchdowns.
Say that again?
So 30 or more completions,
okay,
300 or more passing yards, 4 or more passing touchdowns, 2 or more 40-yard passing touchdowns, and no more than 1 interception, and still lost the game. Those 2 occurrences, Stricky, those 2 occurrences have both happened this year.
Wow. To
the same quarterback. Joe Burrow against Baltimore and Joe Burrow against Baltimore. Woof.
Right. Yeah. And impressive work. Shout out to Jamar Chase too, and the work
balling
that he did. Record-breaking, history-making stats that he put up, showing that he's one of one. And you got to feel bad for him. That you've given it all you got, you laid it all on the line, and you came up short. And it's questionable, but sometimes you just can't, especially away from home. You can't leave it in the hands. What do they tell you?
Don't leave it up to the refs.
Don't leave it in the hands of them, because they're the ones that can give you the KY.
I feel slightly bad for Zach Taylor.
Pose.
Head coach of the Bengals, right? I feel slightly bad for him for the Nebraska angle. But Stricky, I don't really feel bad for the Bengals. They beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game in Arrowhead to go to the Super Bowl. They've won a couple times in the regular season, but I don't feel bad for the Bengals because they haven't lived up to their hype. They haven't lived up to their promise, right? Cincinnati was supposed to be this big contender against Kansas City. It was going to be Burrow versus Mahomes for the foreseeable future. And now Cincinnati might be third in line for AFC rivalries, for the Chiefs at least, right? Outside of the division, of course, because you have Buffalo. You have Mahomes versus Allen. Great game.
Do you think they've lived up to their? That's what I was going to ask you. Do you believe that they've lived up to their potential in Well,
it's funny because in so many other eras of football, Josh Allen is already a Super Bowl champion. Probably same for Lamar Jackson. Right now, living up to their potential is giving Kansas City a game. If those guys want to bust through and make an argument for, best quarterback of the generation, not named Patrick Mahomes, the Manning to the Brady, or, the Roethlisberger to the Rivers, whatever it is you want to say, right? Those guys are going to have to beat Kansas City at some point. Yeah. To his credit, Joe Burrow did. And then went to the Super Bowl, lost to the Rams, where Matthew Stafford had a legendary performance, but they haven't backed it up. Stricky, Cincinnati's been okay. They've been a little bit injured here and there, but not to a crazy degree to where they should be 4-6, or, losing games where they have a 2-touchdown lead like that over a division rival.
Yeah.
So Cincinnati, talked a big game, hasn't lived up to it. I just think Baltimore and Buffalo are just hitting their heads on the ceiling, right? That they're 1 or 2 plays away. And I don't know if it's that those teams aren't living up to their potential, or if the Chiefs are just that well coached, that good, and that consistent.
I mean, yeah, the Chiefs are definitely good. The Chiefs to me are like the Lakers are to the NBA in a lot of ways. Mahomes' stats could easily be the other way as well. You're talking about, I can't remember the number. I saw the stat not too long ago, but there was a stat where it showed that his interception numbers could have quadrupled if those calls were not reversed, or there was a call.
Stricky, we went over this. There's one quarterback in the NFL who's had more interceptions wiped off due to penalty. It's Joe Burrow. So I don't want to hear that from Cincinnati.
Boo!
I don't want to hear that from Cincinnati.
You're KC Homer.
Bobby Wood Jr., baby.
Oh, my God.
He's about to finish top 3 in MVP voting.
That's why Duke is going to get beat by like the 15th seed in the NCAA. I'm putting it out there right now.
Appreciate that from you. Thank you.
Yeah, just because you want to do that.
Come at you with numbers?
No. Falsehoods.
I'll find it.
I believe that's true. I believe that's true too.
But still, to your point, they have benefited.
Yeah, there's some benefit to it. Mm-hmm. But listen, let's be real about this. They find a way to win.
They do.
Mm-hmm. Even if they get the benefits of some stuff, they find a way to win. There's a couple things that you just don't want to do with the Kansas City Chiefs team. You don't want to give them the last drive. You don't want to allow them to have the ball in an overtime. And you don't want it to be close in a fourth quarter so that something can't happen. Just go and beat them by 14 points, 10 points, and call it a day.
That's what you have to do.
Or wait and stop them and get the ball last and go do your thing.
Which hasn't happened much recently.
Which hasn't very much hasn't happened.
Because the Chiefs' defense is so good. That's, again, more appreciated now than it was at the start of the Mahomes era when the defenses were absolutely terrible. But Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo have something cooking on defense, too. I think it's, 27 or 28 straight games with the opponents scoring less than 27 or 28 points. That's tied for the modern NFL record. We think about Andy Reid and the Chiefs and even the Eagles as an offense-focused team, but Reid and Spagnuolo tied their streak of games allowing under a certain number of points that they set together back from 2000 to 2002. If you can't outscore the Chiefs, you're probably not going to out-defend them at this point either, right? The Chiefs have found a way to walk that tightrope, right, of making the trades they have to, signing the free agents they have to. But Stricky, like with pretty much every good team ever, their core, their nucleus is drafted and developed. And then the bit players on the fringes, drafted and developed. And then not re-signed when they get too expensive, right? They keep their books balanced. They're not in salary cap trouble, ever.
That's what I was going to just say. What you just said. You just explained like that is attributed to just really good evaluation, really good, raising up your players internally, using the cycles that come. Because I'm going to be honest, I thought once they signed Mahomes, which ends up now looking like a really good deal when you look at it. Then you had Kelsey, who decided not to break the bank.
And not to retire.
And right. You understood the cycle of the running back situation, knowing that you don't have to go get a high one. You don't have to pay them. You can take care of them, allow them to go make their money, go elsewhere, bring in the next guy, a 5th, 6th, 7th rounder, and let him go. You can do that. And the guy they've been able to do it with a hodgepodge of just okay receivers, drafted a couple, you know what I mean? Like they didn't have to go out there and get a Jamar Chase or get a big name. They're never going to be able to get too high enough to get somebody. So they have to do it. They've understood the assignment, and it's very similar to what San Antonio's done thus far until now. Shout out. We hope that Greg Popovich as well, because we know that, you know, he did have to go and be hospitalized for a time. But I don't know what the status is of that either. But, you know, just shout out. But they've been able to do it for such a long time and still haven't really paid anybody. But they've got one coming up soon that they're going to definitely have to take care of. Will
the NBA let San Antonio pay Wemby? Or is the NBA going to stir the pot?
Well, right now, I found that the numbers for the NBA are down over 1 million as far as viewership, which is crazy. And it goes back, Austin, to what we've talked about here on the show before. I don't know, Austin. I think we might be one of the only shows that literally delve into every aspect of sports. I mean, I know there's great content that come through this station, but I think we might be really the only one that goes.
We're Renaissance men, Stricky,
around the whole globe.
Yeah,
with sports.
You're Da Vinci, I'll be Galileo,
right?
Whatever. Yeah,
right. We're gonna paint it up, but I think Silver's missed it again, because I know we've discussed it, that you've needed to find a marketing plan to shift the conversations, the views, the thoughts away from Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and start to figure out a method that can balance the interest. Because, okay, this is not political, but I'm going to use a political analogy. You just had an election, right? A vote went to Donald Trump is our president-elect. They tried to bring out on the other side a whole bunch of super celebrities, whether it be in movies, music,
media, entertainment, you name it.
Art, whatever it is, some forms of high-level celebrity status, you know, whatever, right? Not even that the other side didn't. It just depends on the messaging.
Right.
Right? And it was rejected. If the NBA, with that mindset of a large swath of your country, is rejecting the status quo of celebrityism, and that's not even a word, maybe it is, in the NBA, this individual, that individual, he's the superstar, that, if you keep it along those lines, it may be rejected. This was a sign, because the people basically, in essence, voted popular electoral college, basically in some form of collective unity, whether it be country, whether it be the unions, people in their, whatever their collective group and unity is, are vying for some type of that unity. This is why I said they need to get back to a form of team.
Right.
Away from LeBron and the individualized aspect, and get back to team. And those matchups, Denver against them, and this against that, and let those matchups with those individuals, like they had it in the days of the emerging NBA in the 80s going into the 90s. They needed to go back to that.
Right.
In order to make this thing work. That's what, and I think they missed it. Go ahead.
And I think a big part of that, Strick, is going to be getting the individual players to buy into that, right? It's still chase my brand, chase my bag, which is why I think maybe the Celtics winning the way they did, yeah, they have some superstars in their team, and Tatum and Brown, in superstars in their roles, in Drew Holiday, Derek White, even Porzingis played, his role really well. But it wasn't one guy carrying the other four on the court to a championship, right? Boston was that team.
Woo!
When you come up with the Celtics, sure, maybe you mention Tatum or Brown first, but then you have to mention everyone else, right? You don't have a rival for Boston right now. New York's just been there for 1 year. Cleveland, we'll see if they're legit or not, right? Philly has fallen out of it. You could almost say that the Bucks and the Heat is a better rivalry, right now than anyone that the Celtics had. And out west, there's nothing like what you had the Lakers, Suns, and Spurs in the early mid 2000s, right?
Yeah.
There's none of that. The league right now, number one, is banking on, I think, Oklahoma City staying good, Minnesota staying good, and Memphis getting back to who Memphis was a couple of years ago. Those three markets don't necessarily move the needle. So will the NBA ride it out, trust the process, say, hey, look at these stars on these teams, but these teams, the NBA needs 5 or so years, like we had with Golden State Cleveland, where that wasn't assured, but it worked out really well for the league. When you had the rivalry, you had the storylines. Yeah, it was Steph and LeBron, but it was the team versus the team, right?
Yeah.
Dellavedova being the irritant, Tristan Thompson, cleaning up on the glass, Klay Thompson hitting big shots, the Hamptons 5 and everything that went into that.
Yeah.
It is about the players. It will never not be about the players, but the players can both get their bag, get paid exorbitant amounts of money because the league's television contract continues to grow, but still make it about the team. But then you need better coaches or good coaches, right, to sustain success. And we're just not necessarily seeing that, or we're not getting those matchups in the playoffs maybe at the rate we did back in, like you said, the late 80s into the 90s, where you could count on a series between, two teams on either side, whether it's in the semifinals or the conference finals or whatever it is. It just feels like you can't bank on a series between two teams anymore.
Well said. Unnamed texter on the Sutter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685, stated, number 5096 says, maybe the NBA would be doing better if they'd get rid of these ridiculous blackout rules. How is Lincoln blacked out for Denver, Minnesota, and OKC? I agree. I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy that you being in the middle of the state and you're blacked out. You don't have an NBA team here. There's no team in Kansas City. The closest ones is going to be Minnesota, Chicago, OKC, maybe.
Denver.
And Denver. And you blacking them out?
The closest one of those is 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
Driving.
Yeah.
Blacking them out.
That's crazy. So, yeah, I have to agree with you. Yeah, it's just stuff to think about.
Makes no sense. I think it's a good spot to take our first break of the show. When we get back, the SEC has proposed its scholarship limit. What will that be when we get into revenue sharing? What will it look like? Will there be a cut down date? How big will the rosters be before and after the season? We'll get into that. And then hour 2, more college football. We'll go through the weekend preview. A lot of fun games on, especially at 2:30 with Nebraska on a bye. We'll be sitting back with our feet up on the couch watching college football. And then I saw this interesting study about how the top teams in college basketball were built, and someone carried that over to college football. The top 12 teams in the college football playoff, what percent of their players at key positions are homegrown and which ones are transfers? So we'll get into that at 3:30. 402-464-5685. Appreciate your involvement here on the show thus far. Keep it coming. We'll be back. We'll be right back to On the Block.
Follow Austin, Strick, and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, expecting mainly cloudy skies this morning, then showers arriving this afternoon. See a high around 56. Tonight, showers likely, below around 46. And tomorrow, showers likely throughout the day with patchy fog possible. The high around 55. Meteorologist Kyle Fletcher from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Before you start blowing and raking leaves this season, make sure you know where they go. Yard waste is not garbage, especially in Lincoln, where it's converted into earth fuel compost. All grass clippings and leaves must be separated from household trash from April 1st until November 30th each year. It's the law. Yard waste belongs in a paper lawn bag, or you may request a bin from your trash hauler who will pick it up for a small fee. Remember, no trash or branches are allowed in yard waste. Get the details at lincoln.ne.gov/recycle.
Hey, Nebraska football fans, it's defensive lineman Ty Robinson, and I've got a winning play for you with Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. Team up with Action and install a new Bradford white water heater in your home. And if we win the conference championship this season, you'll get a full refund. Don't fumble this opportunity. Sack your old water heater this season and score big with Action. Visit actionlincoln.com/Huskers to learn more.
Promotion valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Our first jersey auction of the season is Saturday, November 9th at 6:05 p.m. when the Lincoln Stars host the Fargo Force for Military Appreciation Night at the Icebox. Stick around afterwards for a post-game jersey auction. Proceeds from the auction benefit Hero Stock, and you can get your tickets now at lincolnstars.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, wanting to thank you all again for your continued service. November is off and running. Check this out. Get up to $12,000 off or 0% financing on select new vehicles. We have great lease specials with new Trax and Trailblazers starting at $299 per month, and new Blazer EVs leasing for $399. Great payments, discounts, and of course, 0% financing. So make that short drive down 144th Street or check us out online at coppellcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All finance with approved credit, leases with $2,500 down.
It's a bye week in Huskerland, but that just means more of a chance for us to broadcast more college football on 93.7 The Ticket. This week, we will feature a doubleheader in the Big Ten and the SEC. We will start at 2 p.m. when Will Johnson and the defending champion Michigan Wolverines head to Bloomington to try to spoil quarterback Curtis Rourke and upstart number 8 Indiana's perfect season. Then at 6:15, former Big 8 and Big 12 rivals battle for the first time as members of the SEC, as 5-4 Oklahoma looks to punch a bowl ticket by upsetting number 24, 6-2 Missouri. That's Michigan, Indiana at 2, and Oklahoma, Missouri at 6:15. Catch the action on the gridiron all season long here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back on the block. Strick and Austin with you, Ellie in the hizzy as well. Stricky, SEC setting a football scholarship limit. We'll get to that in a sec. But you mentioned the Billy Napier thing. What was the question you had on that you want to jump off on real quick before we get to this?
So Nick had brought up the point that his theory was that when you look at the totality of what they would have to pay in buyouts, Napier roughly at like 20-something million, 26 million. Mm-hmm. On top of his assistants, you're looking at upwards of over $40 million. Woo. With the new rules that students are going to have to be part of a revenue sharing, mm-hmm. whether that's putting them on the payroll or revenue, some form of it. And that's why he speculated that a lot of colleges are probably rethinking their plans. I went a little bit deeper, and here's a perspective on top of what you're going to have to say. Take this into account. I said I have to agree. I think that now universities more than ever are going to have to be more detailed in the writing of their contracts. It just can't be, we're going to pay you $8 million for the next 5 years plus, a house bonus, or just broad. It makes it easier. They're going to have to be more detailed. They're probably going to have to put in more provisions, more clauses, more situations that, okay, this is a 6-year deal at this, but at this point, if you don't have this, it gets cut, it gets reduced, you must pay back these different things so that they can minimize these large payouts for non-productive individuals. Right.
It's dead cap money.
It's dead cap money. You're going to have to figure out how you can be more frugal in the way that you're doing business with coaches now. If you want to be smart organizations as far as with your money, you don't want to end up with a Jimbo Fisher type of situation any longer. Napier, I think, would have been the second highest if they would have to let him go. And you just don't want it. You don't want to make coaches complacent. You don't want them to get these big deals, start losing games, and don't want to work because they're just like, hey, okay, well, if they let me go, they gonna pay me. Well, I ain't got to do the work. We just going to be what we going to be. You don't want that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, you also don't want it to be to where you're overdoing it, where you're looking at a team that is over 500. They're going to a bowl every year, but they're just not 10-2. Now you don't want to, but now if a team for a certain amount of years under the threshold, now you got discussions on your pullback.
Yeah.
That's when you have discussions. It's not when a team is average. I don't think you can be, we all want wins. We all want playoffs. We all want that because there's moolah involved in that. But you think about that, and I want you to answer, but I'm saying this because you can elaborate on this part too. You think about the deal that Colorado got right now for Deion's deal.
Pretty darn good.
It's nothing. I think their sales are up over almost 200+%.
Yeah.
Ticket sales, they're winning, right? So now they're going to go bowling. So that's going to be an additional. So that deal is looking good now.
Oh,
for
so
them for just in the 2 years.
Yeah.
Even the first year. So that's what I'm saying about these returns, like how they got to figure out universities now. They've got to be more frugal in the decision-making process.
They absolutely do. Deion's an interesting case too, because I doubt it was about the money for him. Was it a pay raise from Jackson State? Yes. But I hope Deion Sanders wasn't worried about money, given how his NFL career and endorsement career went. I wonder, Strick, if we see more mid-major coaches poached to upper majors, just like we see players poached quite a bit, because you can still give them a pay raise without giving them the same pay raise you would for a sitting Power 5 coach.
Talk to me.
Right? If you're going to hire let's say an ACC coach to the Big Ten, it's probably going to cost you more than hiring a Sun Belt coach to the Big Ten, for example, right? So we could see that. The other thing that I think we could see is, more patience on both sides, a little more hesitance to accept a job because, I wonder how many of these coaches, Strick, made the jump just because it was a dollar figure that they couldn't refuse, right?
Well said.
What if a coach, I'm just throwing numbers out there. I don't have a specific example in mind, but how many coaches signed a deal with a school for $7.5 million a year that they wouldn't have signed for $5 million a year? That's still,
and that's just not in football.
No, it's every sport.
It's across the line. Yeah.
Yes, every sport.
Yeah.
To a lesser degree, right, in men's basketball and women's basketball, baseball, whatever, the numbers we know are slightly depressed from football. But I like what you're saying about the agents, because this is where if you're a coach, you have to have a good agent. You're not just going to be able to chase the highest bidder anymore. Maybe you still do, but that highest number is probably coming down. I'm not going to say coaches don't always deserve to get paid what they're getting paid. Good for them. Market says you're worth this amount of money. Go get that amount of money. But doesn't it kind of feel like coaches' salaries have gotten a little out of control? It's one thing if you pay, Nick Saban and Kirby Smart $11, $12 million per year. But Mel Tucker at $9 or $10 million per year?
Wow.
You had to start there, Michigan State, right? Think how much dead money that could end up being in the long run for them, right? That's just one example where Michigan State would have felt a lot better, with Mel Tucker at, $5 to $6 million per year. But does Mel Tucker take the job at that figure? Does he stay as an assistant coach? There's going to be a very fine line to walk. And Strick, it's the same thing we see in contract negotiations in free agency, right? Players want the most money and sometimes the most amount of years, sometimes fewer years, whereas schools want a more depressed figure spread over a long amount of time, right? There's just this natural give and take.
Yeah,
so I think schools are going to have to accept that, hey, they might actually have to work harder on these contracts, not just write a blank check and say fill in here. But agents are also going to have to, even more than they already do, pore over every detail of these contracts, make sure the escalators match up, make sure that the out clauses are acceptable and beneficial to give their coach clients another shot somewhere so they're not set up to fail. But then, along with the contract negotiation part of the agent, the PR people, Stricky, think about the statement that Scott Strickland in Florida had to put out.
Yeah.
Everyone can feel right now that Florida's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's not because they don't want to. It's because they can't. So how do you spin that positively? What did Florida do? They said, most of our NIL money is tied up in young players. So just give coach a couple of years, right? This is where all the money's going. So once he gets his guys in the building, I think we're really going to take off.
Well said. I'm sorry I had to laugh. Unnamed texter 5769.
Dang.
Look, this is not what we're saying here on 93.7 The Ticket, but I do have to say this because it was funny to me. Because you think of
that was good.
It's really good. We've got to get back to comedy, bro. Like real authentic comedy and not be so Ralph Tresvant sensitive about comedy. I think this is funny.
It is.
Like, I know it's a sensitive situation for some people, and people don't like you talking about them or talking about the kids or talking about that or whatever, right? I still thought it was funny that the coldest Crawford got in the transfer portal because he got cold. He got cold to Lincoln. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Satterfield, he says Satterfield should enter the transfer portal. Like, just the vision of that for me was funny because I'm like, dang, coaches in the transfer portal. That's crazy. But do we see a coach's transfer portal?
Don't we already?
Yeah.
Don't we already?
It already.
The other text we have on our text line.
The other part.
Yeah.
Go ahead and throw the text. I'll come back to it.
Okay.
I'll remember.
3994. How much better is Nebraska's record, and how much better does Nebraska look on the national stage if the current team is playing in the Big 12? Probably about the same. The Big 12 just yesterday put out a tweet. 14 of the 16 Big 12 football programs are still alive for the Big 12 championship entering week 11. Now, got some real long shots, right? Like, it's going to take a lot for Kansas and TCU and Texas Tech and Houston and Cincinnati and Utah and West Virginia to legitimately get in the conversation. Arizona State too. But Stricky, when I look at this Big 12, Nebraska's not better than BYU. Nebraska's not better than Iowa State. Nebraska's not better than Kansas State. Nebraska did beat Colorado, to their credit, but
they're different than what they played. Like
much different.
They're definitely a different team.
Did I mention Iowa State? Nebraska's not better than Iowa State this year, right? Yeah. We've gotten this text a couple times, and guys, I know that the Big Ten has this reputation of being tough. It is, right? The top of the league is elite, to use the Matt Rule word, but I still think that even if there's not one clear runaway elite team or two clear runaway elite brand name programs, because BYU's there this year. Iowa State just got upset. Colorado's got a couple losses. Kansas State the same. Even if there's not one elite team, the middle of the Big 12, or the upper middle of the Big 12, is as good, if not better, than the upper middle of the Big 10, right? Iowa is comparable to a bunch of these Big 10 teams overall, maybe not in style of play. I would say I would take most of those Big 12 teams over Michigan right now. I would take most of them over Wisconsin right now. I would take most of them over Minnesota right now. And those are all teams that are very close to Nebraska's record within a game or two. I would even take most of these teams over, say, USC right now.
Yeah.
So I really...
Definitely Northwestern.
Definitely. But there's not...
Maryland. Golly, we're still adding up. I don't think Maryland... I think Maryland's suspect.
They're suspect.
Now, UCLA?
Wait and see on them. The record is one thing. The way they've played the last few weeks is another. But no, I don't think Nebraska's record is magically better if they play in the Big 12 with this team right now.
Yeah,
I really don't.
I think that's a good point.
So,
yeah.
Money G in Kansas. Maybe the Huskers should join the Pac-10.
Wait a minute.
Hey, Pac-12 volleyball's been nice to Nebraska so far this year.
Wait a minute. Good win for the Huskers. Shout out to the Lady Huskers going out there to Oregon and
dominating a top 15 team.
Shout out. Good job. Lady Huskers. Yes.
Cubsker says Nebraska is probably the Baylor of the Big Ten. They're not great. They're not awful. They're just there playing football. Isn't that kind of what Nebraska is in the Big Ten right now?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of what the program is right now?
That's a fact.
Just kind of sitting there. I don't know. Let's go to break. We'll wrap up Hour 1 of On the Block with a short segment next.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for affordable drinks and a great atmosphere this football season? Highball Bar has you covered. Whether it's pregame tailgating, postgame festivities, or in-game celebrations, Highball Bar is the place to be. With $4 beers, $4 mixed drinks, and more during their 4 to 8 p.m. daily happy hour, Highball Bar will quickly become your go-to place to sit back, unwind, and be your team's #1 fan. Highball Bar, located in downtown Lincoln, just 3 blocks from Memorial Stadium at 122 North 11th Street.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Our first jersey auction of the season is Saturday, November 9th at 6:05 p.m. when the Lincoln Stars host the Fargo Force for Military Appreciation Night at the Icebox. Stick around afterwards for a post-game jersey auction. Proceeds from the auction benefit Hero Stock, and you can get your tickets now at LincolnStars.com.
Hey, Nebraska football fans, it's defensive lineman Ty Robinson, and I've got a winning play for you with Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. Team up with Action and install a new Bradford white water heater in your home. And if we win the conference championship this season, you'll get a full refund. Don't fumble this opportunity. Sack your old water heater this season and score big with Action. Visit actionlincoln.com/Huskers to learn more.
Promotion valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Midwest Bank is hosting our annual Thanksgiving food drive, partnering with local Lincoln schools to provide Thanksgiving dinners to families in need. We hope to provide meals for more than 120 families in our community this year. You can help by dropping off a donation at either Midwest Bank location, 7001 Pioneers Boulevard or 2655 Jamie Lane. Any donation is greatly appreciated. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Hey guys, it's Nick. Join 93.7 The Ticket this Friday night from Concordia University as we bring you Class B playoff action. The 2-seed Seward Blue Jays host 10-seeded Gretna East. Gretna East went 6 hours from home last Friday and upset Garing 44-7, while the Blue Jays hosted Lincoln Pius X and staved off an early exit with a 21-20 victory. Kickoff is slated for 7 p.m. with pregame coverage starting at 6:50. Join us this Friday for high school playoff action between number 2 Seward and number 10 Gretna East, right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're wrapping up hour one of On the Block. Strick, Austin, Ellie with you. Thanks again to Fred Hoiberg for stopping by at the studio yesterday. If you missed that conversation or if you want to listen back to that conversation, wherever it is you get your podcast, you can find that conversation there. First segment, 2 o'clock, Strick, Nick, and the Husker head coach. Stricky, we didn't get to the SEC setting its scholarship limits for 2025. Yahoo Sports asked the SEC, and it sounds like 85 is going to be the number that the SEC is setting. Why is that number important? Because of 2 reasons. Number one, that's the current limit, is 85 scholarships, but roster size will still be up to 105 in the SEC, right? 85 scholarships and then up to 20 walk-ons. Of course, revenue sharing, all of that goes into it. Here's the other interesting part, though. We know
is there a scale for the revenue sharing? Pause.
I don't know. We'll see. The final decision doesn't come till March.
They need to really make, otherwise it's going to be a continual kicking of the can down the road, right? It's like, don't do testers. Get a vision, make it plain, and write it. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Like don't nudge, because here's the thing. And the reason I say this is this. Because people get frustrated. Even though they deal with it, there still becomes frustration if you put something out there, say it's for a specific reason, and then you don't retract it, or you pull it back, or you start trying to add more, so forth and so on. Let me give you an example. I remember when I lived in Dallas, this is the early stages of the tollway. And they do this with government. They do this with stores. They do this all over the place, where they say, okay, we're going to add a toll to this road, and it's going to be so we can build the road, right? We're just basically, so we don't have to raise taxes, because obviously there's no state tax in Texas, right? So we don't have to raise taxes. We're going to issue a toll. But this is what they tell you. Once the toll road is completed, we'll relinquish the toll, we'll pull it off, and the road will be built.
Cap.
Right? They leave the toll. Not only do they leave the toll, they increase the amount for it. And not only that, the toll was supposed to be for an express way.
Right.
And some of the tolls are just as blocked as the freaking, but yet you're paying for it.
Paying more for it.
Right? I could have just stayed on the other road. Yeah, it's going to take me maybe about an extra 20 minutes more, but still, I'm paying for being backed up either way. That's what I'm saying. Make it plain. Yeah. I think people will understand, can see it, can plan for it, can adjust to it. If you put the plan out, make it plain, and not start adding, retracting, trying to piecemeal. Oh, we didn't. No, those are the things. what do you have these think tanks for? What do you have all this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
How many millions of dollars have they invested in trying to get this right already, and they still don't have it right?
Bruh. There you go.
But I think that's important too, Strick, because what if people have been asking for most of the last 5 years, just get something in place?
Yeah.
No one is expecting, at least I hope no one is expecting, a perfect system right away.
Yeah.
As jacked up as the NCAA has been recently, and I don't even want to say recently, right? As jacked up as the NCAA has been, you can't expect them to get it perfect. You absolutely can't. But get something in place that works for the majority of schools, and then you tweak as necessary, right? You have to be flexible, not rigid like the NCAA has been far too often. And that's where I wonder if there's, in that revenue sharing model, is the NCAA looking to do its own thing, or is it looking to the NFL for guidance potentially, like. Right? For in terms of revenue sharing, but also Strick in terms of roster sizes.
That's what it sounds like.
Right? Because NFL rosters, 53, 54 guys right now, including the emergency quarterback that can practice and the 12-man practice squad, I believe it is. That's not huge, right? It's best of the best. It's very select. We're all for more participation. We're all for giving opportunities to student athletes, right? I don't think college has to go down quite that far, right? Because it should still be a middle step between high school and the pros. But do we need 150, 140 man rosters in college?
No,
I think we do.
You think they do?
I know why. I don't think we do.
Oh.
What I think is best is why don't we just give everyone 70 every week? 70 players that can dress out, whether you're at home or you're on the road, have a 15 to 20 man practice squad. Okay, get you to 85 or 90, whatever that middle ground, that number is. Because what the SEC is doing is saying you can bring as many players as you want to camp, as many players as you think you can coach, that you think you want to get a look at, you can bring them to camp. But the SEC is saying you have to get down to 105 players and 85 scholarship players by the time you get to fall camp. That all seems fair to me.
And are they, and are scholarships renewed yearly, or is it for the full duration, or is that negotiated? I think that should be some part of it too. I think it should be that, okay, yeah, we're going to offer you a scholarship, but it's a 2-year deal.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, some programs don't auto renew. Some of them it's year by year.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So that's what I'm asking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, it seems to me that it's pretty understood that if you get a scholarship, but it could be that it's year to year, and it's just that we've made a gentleman's, you know,
agreement. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I think if organizations and programs want to get back on top of things, because right now there's a lot of power in the player. The player has the ability to leave on a whim, get in the transfer portal and bounce.
Mm-hmm.
They put you at a real disadvantage. I think if you're going to give revenue sharing, programs should also have the ability to say, if you don't measure up, then we can let you go too.
Right. And
you know what I mean? Make it right. Go ahead.
I'm with you. Because, Strick, I think the difference between college and the pros, and the NFL's done a better job of this than the NBA is, like we talked about in the first segment, making it about the teams, not the players. But it is still about the players to some degree in the NFL, right? We see quarterback salaries, we see trade demands from stars. That's what dominates the news cycle. We get into playoff football, sure, we talk about the matchups a little bit more. But specifically in college, I think two things can be true. It's good that the players have more powers than they have had, but the players are not the selling point. The teams and the brands are the selling points, right? If college football goes so far into the NFL model of free agency, just doing year-over-year scholarships or really leaning into promoting individual players, I don't think it's going to work for college football. I think college football needs to do what college basketball does, lean into the long-tenured coaches that are successful, lean into the long-tenured programs that are successful, and really market the Big Ten, the SEC, with whatever conferences you want to throw in there on a conference-by-conference basis, on a team-by-team basis, because as soon as you feed the players' egos with the transfer portal, make them sought after like NBA free agency, you're going to start running into the same problems.
Yeah. I know we got to go.
We do.
There's nothing really we can't dig into that one too. We gotta get a break because it is we're getting into almost the second hour.
It's 3:00 already. Dang.
I know.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Locker room. stayed too long, didn't clean it. I'm kidding. We love the locker room. Appreciate those guys. We'll go to break when we get back. What are you watching this weekend with no Nebraska football? We'll dive into some of the good games on TV. And then how are the college football playoff top 12 teams right now built, internally or externally? All ahead, hour 2 of On the Block.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Follow Austin, Strick, and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orban, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Before you start blowing and raking leaves this season, make sure you know where they go. Yard waste is not garbage, especially in Lincoln, where it's converted into earth fuel compost. All grass clippings and leaves must be separated from household trash from April 1st until November 30th each year. It's the law. Yard waste belongs in a paper lawn bag, or you may request a bin from your trash hauler who will pick it up for a small fee. Remember, no trash or branches are allowed in yard waste. Get the details at lincoln.ne.gov/recycle.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Is your phone system holding you back? We know how important smooth, reliable communication is for your success. Whether your team is working from the office or on the go, you need a phone system that keeps up with your busy day. At Hamilton, we offer business phone systems that adapt to your needs, making every call clear and every connection simple. Upgrade to a Hamilton business phone system where advanced features meet unmatched reliability. Are you ready to transform how you communicate? Better phones, better business. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
League One Volleyball is coming to Omaha this January. Featuring Olympic medalist Jordan Larson and Justine Wong-Arantes, Love Omaha Volleyball is Omaha's newest pro team. The inaugural season will showcase some of the world's best volleyball players, from medalists to NCAA champions and international superstars, with the action kicking off on January 24th at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Visit LOVB.com for more information and to purchase tickets. Volleyball is the next major league.
We fix basements.
We fix basements.
We fix basements.
We fix basements. We fix basements.
At F Foundation Repair, we've been fixing basements for over 30 years. We're your local foundation repair experts. Our warranties stay here. Our people work here. You can trust us to take care of your home. Go to WeFixBasements.com to learn more.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Couple Chevrolet GMC, wanting to thank you all again for your continued service. November is off and running. Check this out. Get up to $12,000 off or 0% financing on select new vehicles. We have great lease specials with new Tracks and Trailblazers starting at $299 per month and new Blazer EVs leasing for $399. Great payments, discounts, and of course, 0% financing. So make that short drive down 144th Street or check us out online at couplecars.com. You'll be glad you did. All finance with approved credit, leases with $2,500 down.
Midwest Bank is hosting our annual Thanksgiving food drive, partnering with local Lincoln schools to provide Thanksgiving dinners to families in need. We hope to provide meals for more than 120 families in our community this year. You can help by dropping off a donation at either Midwest Bank location, 7001 Pioneers Boulevard or 2655 Jamie Lane. Any donation is greatly appreciated. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best boxers on Saturday, November 9th with Vertex at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. Fights are scheduled throughout the night, and if you haven't been before, now's the perfect time to go with Nebraska football on a bye week. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the boxers and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
My husband has always been the one we depend on. He's a great dad, loves the outdoors, but lately he hasn't been himself. He tried to hide it, but I can tell he's struggling with his mental health. I called the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
988 calls and texts are free and confidential with skilled caring support 24/7. No judgment, just help.
988 saved my husband's life.
Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
It's a bye week in Huskerland, but that just means more of a chance for us to broadcast more college football on 93.7 The Ticket. This week, we will feature a doubleheader in the Big Ten and the SEC. We will start at 2 p.m. when Will Johnson and the defending champion Michigan Wolverines head to Bloomington to try to spoil quarterback Curtis Rourke and upstart number 8 Indiana's perfect season. Then at 6:15, former Big 8 and Big 12 rivals battle for the first time as members of the SEC, as 5-4 Oklahoma looks to punch a bowl ticket by upsetting number 24, 6-2 Missouri. That's Michigan, Indiana at 2, and Oklahoma, Missouri at 6:15. Catch the action on the gridiron all season long here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NEBCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
We're back on the block, hour 2 of a Friday show. Hardly feels like a Friday for me. I've been out this week. So, again, appreciate Steady Stricky holding down the fort. And Shaky Ellie, too. She's been here. So, I'm kidding. Ellie's not shaky. He's Strick. I'm Austin. Ellie's on the board. Appreciate you tuning in here, too, on the block. 402-464-5685. Without Nebraska football on your TV this weekend, what are you watching? Let us know which game you will have on the tube. We'll get into it here in just a sec. Before we do, Strick, we go to our Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line. Isaac says, so I do concrete work. Imagine if I had to get an analyst to tell me, oh, put the concrete inside of the forms, not in the grass. Really? Football doesn't have to be that complicated. If it is, then maybe the analyst should do the actual work. Or send the OC to the transfer portal, too.
That's interesting. That's an interesting take. And look, I think more than anything, and Cluster and I talked, he brought this up a little bit because we did talk a little bit about Holgorsen, and just as an example, I mean, other teams do this as well. So it's not just Nebraska, but he made mention of, well, first I made mention of, because you weren't here, so I can tell you what I said. I spoke about how Coach Osborne got to a place of stagnation in the program where he had to make a decision that I'm going to figure out and have other people put their eyes on what we're doing, what we're trying to do, where's our deficiency. And it ultimately came down to speed. So he recruited differently and went out for speed in the cornerback position and went down to Florida and went down to Cali. In the wingback positions, did the same things, how you got Abdul, and I just went and got shaped up by Riley Washington. Shout out to Riley Washington, right up off of 10th in South. He's at a shop there. Riley Washington was a good receiver here for us. Great speed out of San Diego, California, right?
And that's why you played basketball, because they were recruiting speed for football.
Yeah, I didn't have that. And
you had power.
I had that, but not speed. So, but when he did that, he made the adjustment because he didn't have the same ability to bring coaches in as they do now. 70-something coaches.
Yeah.
Of some form.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And Klesser said, with that many people, why would you in any, by any means feel that you need to have more eyes? So that's the question. That's when you have to start thinking, what is this really about?
Right.
Unless you've done a bad job in bringing coaches in and you just brought in a big echo chamber.
Right.
Of staff that just is, yay, Coach Rule. Yeah. We're rolling with you.
Rolling with Rule.
You know what I'm saying? If you just got that, that's not good.
Well, that's the big thing in sports now, Strick, is that because they took off the limit for the number of analysts you can have on your staff, we see it in Major League Baseball too, right? The two teams that have the biggest analytic departments in the sport are the Dodgers and the Yankees. Guess what? They have the most money to spend, so they do. But we don't give the Dodgers and the Yankees crap for having too many cooks in the kitchen, because why? It's working.
Yeah.
So what did Nick Saban do when he got to Alabama? He said the first thing that we have to do is expand our recruiting operation. Everything is about it. We need more personnel for recruiting. But that wasn't necessarily more people putting eyes on prospects. Maybe in some cases, but that was more people focused on their job in Tuscaloosa, making it as presentable as possible. He left the football up to football people. And again, I'm not at practice. I don't know what's going on in the stadium or anything like that. It's a good thing, I think, that Nebraska has the budget, has the infrastructure. Is Brett Favre out of prison? Has he gone to prison? He's got to be close, right?
Bro, I'm sorry. I just want to throw that wrinkle in. That was a good change up after I came up high and tight on you with a fastball. That was just a good away change. Okay, go ahead. Get back to it.
What if I told you, what if I asked you, would you like Brett Favre as Nebraska's next quarterback coach?
No, we're not going to switch the subject. No. Get back to what you were saying.
Train of thought.
I sure did. But you were talking about Nick Saban. You're talking about Nick Saban. And
I like the general idea of Nebraska having a lot of people there. Because there's a lot of work that goes into running a Division I college football program that has aspirations like Nebraska does.
Yeah.
But they got to have a purpose. They got to have a point, right? Why hire two people to do the work of one person? That's unnecessary. And I'm willing to give the staff the benefit of the doubt. If you're a football person, you're looking at football. If you're not a football person, you're not looking at football, right? I assume that's what's happening. But here's the other thing, Strick. We've mentioned this a couple times. Nebraska football right now is not in a position to be giving out coaching positions or staff positions for free, right? Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, those are cutthroat programs, right? If you're not the best of the best, you're probably not employed there right now.
Yeah.
Nebraska has to be the same way, right? You're not going to get back to where Nebraska wants to be by giving out coaching positions, by giving out analyst positions for guys who aren't qualified for it. I know it's always subjective. I know it's always, you just guess, you make an educated guess the best you can to figure out, who can do it. And yeah, sure, you can give, you can do a favor here or there.
Yeah.
But not that many. And I'm not saying that's what's going on over there. But at some point, if it's not working and the staff is that big and there's that many voices, that many eyes, that many hands going to work and still nothing is getting accomplished, it's got to be a fair question to ask.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a fair question. But here's the thing, Austin. You gotta look at it from this perspective too. He has to do something.
Yeah.
Because he does have 70 guys over there right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you do know you need them. Whatever you've assigned them to do, they need them. And I think you're to a point now where it's like, I need to look as if I'm doing something.
Right.
Because you don't want to unearth what you need on that backside, the behind the scenes, all the stuff that goes on with that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to relinquish and fire guys mid-season. So as a head guy, you have to think about, what can I do to show that I'm doing now? And look, I'm not saying that he's just doing it to show. I think he's actually probably doing it to be maybe proactive or be reactive or whatever you want to look at it for. I think he's doing it for a purpose. I don't think he's just doing it for play.
Right. Not just throwing it at the wall and seeing if it sticks.
I don't think that's the case.
maybe he's doing it for lying wait. Maybe he's doing it for, yes, this isn't working, so I don't want to usurp the room right now, the structure, and have someone come trying to build in the mid, because we're right here. We're still on the precipice. I don't want that, but maybe I do still need somebody there because I can't be there.
Or he's better when he's there than I am. Either way.
Either way. I mean, whatever it is. We like you said, we're not there. We don't know. All we can do is speculate, but I know it's something to it as to why it's going down.
We just got done talking in the first hour, Strick, about buyouts, right? I assume if you fire an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, or position coach during the season, they have a buyout too. We just talk about the head coach buyouts because those are the big numbers and the ones that pop up. So financials are a consideration. Fine. It's a reality. It's kind of the nature of the beast. I know, you know, we know in Husker Nation that Matt Rule has said he's not firing coaches midseason. But if it's not working and you know this is the guy you want to be your next OC, why would it hurt to rip the Band-Aid off now? Right? I get it. They run two different systems. But if you're going to make the switch anyway, why not make it now and see which guys can swim and which ones will sink?
Maybe he has, and they're just not doing it from that level. Like you said, we don't really know. Maybe he has.
True.
Maybe the plan is put in motion and there's earpiece in his ear when there's earpiece in the quarterback's ear, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna go with wide right, X jet, Z fly, Y dig, whatever, fake 43, what I mean? Whatever it is. And he's telling them, and he's like, okay, yeah, why dig, just the same way as he relays the message downstairs, and guess what they do? They put up what? A bunch of cards, right? To relay to the out. I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm not even over here, ooh. I'm not doing that. I don't have a tinfoil hat on. I'm just saying we don't know. It could be.
BJ in Wichita is pushing back a little bit here. He says this is all a PR move by Matt Rule to change the narrative during the bye week to, hey, we're trying to fix this by bringing more eyes here.
I said that.
Just like he says a lot of things to the media for show. That's BJ in Wichita's opinion.
I said that, BJ. I said I think it could be any one of those things, and you may be right. But I can't narrow that down to say that that's the case, though, and neither could you. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be real. I mean, look, that is a great observation, and at all, I'll put that at the top of the list of that being the case, but you still can't definitively say that.
No. Matt Rule's ability to speak, I think, has been both a blessing and a curse for Nebraska this year, Strick. I do think that the way Matt Rule talked when he was brought in, the way he talked through last season, the way things went, really good for Nebraska. I think it set expectations.
It wasn't coach speak.
It was, but it wasn't. He elaborated a little bit.
I think it's more coach speak now.
Very much so.
Okay.
Which, again, Matt Rule kind of backed himself into a corner to where all he could rely on was coach speak. Think about what he said after Ohio State. I felt the shift. I felt the championship mindset. You had to use those words specifically? Why? Because then guess what happens? They come out and they lay an absolute egg against UCLA. And Matt Rule couldn't talk himself out of it. He didn't have answers. I'm willing to believe that he didn't expect it. And I'm not going to tell Matt Rule not to be Matt Rule. He should be his authentic self, right? If he's good at talking, be good at talking. Then he has to understand, and fans have to understand, when he's talking, the less he succeeds, the more grains of salt you have to take it with, and maybe tone it down a little bit. Maybe talking isn't the time now. Dabo Swinney could give sermons, right? When Clemson was winning 2 out of 3 national championships. There's a reason people sat and listened to Nick Saban when he opined on something. Husker fans are still listening to Matt Rule for now, but I think after UCLA Strick, more than a handful of fans are going to start tuning him out. And how does that reflect to the locker room?
If I'm the coach, I'm commanding and demanding. At this point, I'm commanding and demanding, and I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Dylan Raiola. Look, I'm commanding and demanding. Y'all going before me. I mean, if I need to have, like, if it gets to that point, like if they lose this next one, I'm beyond commanding and demanding at that point. Heads going to start rolling. But, you know, there's got to be a point where you're going to command and demand excellence, you know, and that's all, including myself. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to work smarter. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here after. We're going to get this thing figured out, and it starts with me. Even if I have to take that onus, it starts with me. But I'm letting y'all know that I'm not falling for none of y'all. If you can't get it together, you got to get going.
I will get you going.
And you too. And I would do it in a meeting. And I'd be like, and you too, coaches. I ain't talking just to I'm talking to you too. Everyone up in here can get going. Including myself. And I'm telling y'all right now, it ain't going to be me first. You know what I'm saying? So that everybody knows what the expectation is. That's kind of how, you know, it would go down.
Yes, setting clear expectations is key. Does everyone on staff know what is expected of them? I don't know, Strick, and I think it shows that maybe the staff doesn't know what's expected because the results are the same. Maybe what's being expected isn't fair. Here's this from Brad. That's what Deion Sanders did, and people got their feelings hurt. Is that what Deion Sanders did? Is that what he said?
When he first got there.
They went 4-8 last year, but guess what? They're in the running to win the Big 12 this year. So guess what? It worked.
Whatever it was, worked. It just, but here's one thing I can also say. He took a beating in the media and all of that. You know, and a lot of it is because of the arrogance and the way that they walk around. But the one thing that I can say, just knowing people close to the family still, is he had self-reflection. Even though Deion may carry himself the way that he carries himself, even going back to his Players Day. I mean, so this is not nothing new. This goes back to his. He can sit down and watch film and still look at himself and say, I was out of position on that one. I'm not blaming that on my safety. That was me. I was out of position. And he'll take onus. He'll take his own onus. And then he is like, I'm not going to rely on the safety. I'm going to bait him, make him think that he's good with my safety not being able to get there, and I'm going to get there and get that ball. Like that's the way he would think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So is Rule doing that? Is their staff doing that? Are their players willing to do that? We're going to see this week. Because you've had a week off. If they go out there with the same intensity that they had against UCLA, if they go out with the same intensity that they had against Illinois, I'm talking about start these games. You got blown out because if you don't come out with anything other than what we saw at Colorado, it's disappointment. Because you've had a week off.
Again, your second one in a month.
You've had a week off. And if you can't pump and prime yourself at this moment, then there's something wrong. That's the way I'll leave it.
It's a good place to leave it. We'll go to break, talk some college football weekend when we get back to On the Block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
League One Volleyball is coming to Omaha this January. Featuring Olympic medalist Jordan Larson and Justine Wong-Arantes, Love Omaha Volleyball is Omaha's newest pro team. The inaugural season will showcase some of the world's best volleyball players, from medalists to NCAA champions and international superstars, with the action kicking off on January 24th at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Visit lovb.com for more information and to purchase tickets. Volleyball is the next major league.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, take over $11,000 off a 2024 Ford F-150. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1004296, MSRP of $66,645. Must finance with Ford Motor Company and have a qualifying trade and approved credit. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 11/13/24. See delivery details.
Hey guys, it's Nick. Join 93.7 The Ticket this Friday night from Concordia University as we bring you Class B playoff action. The 2-seed Seward Blue Jays host 10-seeded Gretna East. Gretna East went 6 hours from home last Friday and upset Garing 44-7, while the Blue Jays hosted Lincoln Pius X and staved off an early exit with a 21-20 victory. Kickoff is slated for 7 p.m. with pregame coverage starting at 6:50. Join us this Friday for high school playoff action between number 2 Seward and number 10 Gretna East, right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop.
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Is your phone system holding you back? We know how important smooth, reliable communication is for your success. Whether your team is working from the office or on the go, you need a phone system that keeps up with your busy day. At Hamilton, we offer business phone systems that adapt to your needs, making every call clear and every connection simple. Upgrade to a Hamilton business phone system where advanced features meet unmatched reliability. Are you ready to transform how you communicate? Better phones, better business. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Before you start blowing and raking leaves this season, make sure you know where they go. Yard waste is not garbage, especially in Lincoln, where it's converted into earth fuel compost. All grass clippings and leaves must be separated from household trash from April 1st until November 30th each year. It's the law. Yard waste belongs in a paper lawn bag, or you may request a bin from your trash hauler who will pick it up for a small fee. Remember, no trash or branches are allowed in yard waste. Get the details at lincoln.ne.gov/recycle.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey guys, it's Austin with 93.7 The Ticket. We've got another NFL Sunday triple header for you, starting with the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Denver Broncos at noon. The afternoon game will feature the NFC East as the Dallas Cowboys host the Philadelphia Eagles at 3:30 Central. It's the visitors favored by a touchdown. Like last week, Sunday Night Football is a matchup between the NFC North and AFC South as Houston hosts Detroit at 7:15 p.m. You can catch all the biggest NFL games right here on Lincoln's home for the NFL, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jumping back to the text line here real quick before we look at the weekend.
You guys are active
football.
on the text line, actually.
BJ, huge shout out. Money G, Brad, 2280 Cub Scare 1100, all the above and more. Appreciate you guys. BJ in Wichita says, thanks guys. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just annoyed with all the talk the past few weeks, which to me seems like propaganda. I feel like Nebraska is heavy on the talk and PR and weak on the on-field results.
Wow, BJ. Hey, BJ, shout out to you in Wichita. Listen, my boy, I'm with you, because that is the one thing I will say before Austin chimes in and puts the, like, you know how you build a cake and you put the layer on and then you put the, so I'm layering it up and you're going to put the icing on it.
You're the cake. You're the substance. I'll be the frost.
You be the frost.
I'll do it.
So
and Ellie's the cherry on top.
Yeah, that part. And the little thing that you put on it, whatever it is, if it's the marriage or the, the flowers.
The cake topper.
Whatever that is, right? That's Ellie. Okay. I have to agree with you. And one of the things about how I view this whole thing is, and why I liked him, is because I believed him.
Mm-hmm.
I believed that he was authentic. I believed that what he was saying was true. I can actually see what he was doing behind what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So I really liked it. But I really felt this the last couple of weeks. I felt that we're starting to get into coach speak now.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting to get into PR chess moves now. And I can feel it. I can sense it. I don't like it, but I want to see more results on the field, because I don't see an excuse. There's no excuse when 2 bye weeks you come out with the effort that you have. There's no excuse that you can't get up for a nationally ranked game and come with any energy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get into that. You've been smelling your own coffee. Drink the coffee and it'll make you feel better. I don't like it. And so put the pricing on that.
Correct. I think that part of it too is that listening to Matt Rule talk last year, his first year at Nebraska when he was hired, Strick, was such a departure from the Scott Frost era. Because think about the last, major quote unquote scandal or big storyline that we had from Scott Frost. It was the no opening statement at Big Ten Media Days. Scott Frost wasn't a talker to the degree that Matt Rule was. So we go from worrying about a coach who doesn't even know what to say, not willing to say anything, maybe a little standoffish with the media at some points, to Matt Rule, who, like you said, avoided coach speak for the most part, who seemed like he was being open and honest. And I'm not saying he's not being honest right now, right? I don't know the work that's going on in there. I think that's important to say. It's also important to say that Nebraska is at the same spot it was last year, which is not a step forward, but they still have 3 chances to get to a bowl. And that was the conversation this year. Strick, right? Get to a bowl game. This is what happens with 6-6, 500 programs. You win some games, you lose some games. You look good in some games, you look bad in some games, right? Husker fans have just seen more looking bad, not balanced out by enough looking good to get to bowl games recently.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of external expectations, Nebraska is not that far off in terms of the numbers in the win and loss column that we think or thought going into the year that they could or should be, but we just didn't know what that would feel like. But it's not 6-6, it's not 7-5 messaging from Matt Rule. And that's fine. But then when you lose like you did to an Indiana team, where Signetti, has been, I don't want to say raked over the coals, but he's been taken to task a little bit for being brash in his approach, but it's working for him. Matt Rule is talking the same talk with different language, and the results aren't there. It's a mess in a lot of ways. I can understand pretty much every emotion that fans feel right now, because that's what's happening in the program. Is stuff feels like it's going in every different direction. It doesn't feel like, even still, there's that one constant forward pull in consistency in messaging, because it kind of feels like Nebraska's shook right now. And I don't think Nebraska should be shook. That's kind of the feeling from the outside looking in.
That's a big fact. And matter of fact, I personally would feel better if, instead of the way that we've been hearing it, if he came out and said something like this. And you know what? I know how it's looked. It's very disappointing. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in myself. I'm disappointed in what I've seen. And I'm telling you right now, I'm looking each and every one of you that's sitting in this room with me, that it changes this week.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see it, or you're going to see heads rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you right now, we're going to get out there. We're going to play our best game of the season. We're going to play a full game of the season. We're not going to make the mistakes that we've been making, and we're going to come out of USC with a win. Like, I'm at this point, I would much rather hear you talk bravado to me than, well, you know, it's been tough. We've got some work to do. We need to get back to the basics, and we're going to get there. Bringing some people in, and we're going to take a look at the program and do an internal, you know, just self-reflection. And I think we're fine. You know, we'll continue to get guys healthy. And no, come in there and talk to the way I do, like I did the first time. I'd much rather hear you do that, because at least, shoot, I can get behind that. And that's the one thing I can always say that I appreciated from Danny Nee. Danny Nee may not have known an X and O as well as most people, but boy, oh boy, he could get you ready to get out there and freaking go and run through a wall.
I think that's an important point to make, though, Strick, because I don't know if Matt Rule is the X's and O's football genius. I think Matt Rule needs to lean into more of the Danny Nee. I've heard the same things about Tim Miles, right? Tim Miles wasn't the biggest X's and O guys. He needed really good assistants to draw stuff up for him. But he'd get the guys ready to play.
Yeah.
He can message. His players would go to bat for him and play for him. I don't know if Matt Rule's trying to be the X's and O's guy. If Matt Rule is not trying to be the X's and O's guy, then he needs elite assistants around him, not just whoever he can get, not just his buddies. But if Matt Rule is the X's and O's guy, then it's fair to question the schemes. But we don't hear Matt Rule talking a lot of X's and O's. Of course, he's going to, you know, throw out some play calls or some alignments. He's a Division I college football coach. He should know them. He should be able to do that, right? It's kind of a baseline expectation. But if Matt Rule isn't the on-field scheme guy, then he needs to be in perfect control of the messaging. And it feels like he's not in control of the messaging right now, which means he's not going about the job he was brought in to do.
There it is. I mean, shoot, what else? What do y'all say? I mean, are we totally off base? I think BJ in Wichita agrees. He says, I agree, guys. You know what I'm saying? I agree. Money G in Kansas says it would be great to land for the Huskers. They need to keep working on, is it Ian?
Yeah, this kid, he sent us a picture of here. Tight end out of Kansas.
Okay. Yeah.
Save it for B months on Monday.
Yeah. Let's save that one for B months. We'll see. We'll see what he looks like. But anyway, yeah, man. Dang, we still got a whole nother week to wait.
Yeah.
Tell me what
tell me why.
Yeah. Dang, that's crazy. We still got a whole week.
Hey, while we're waiting,
tell me about some football that you're looking at.
How about that, Stricky?
Yeah. Who you want to watch this weekend?
11 o'clock is a little shaky this week. Purdue, Ohio State.
I always want a good 11 o'clock game.
At least one.
One.
Miami, Georgia Tech. Florida, Texas might be the headliner unless you're a sicko and you want Minnesota, Rutgers. Which
Florida's got a lot going on. There's something in the Gator water out there.
Hey, we've mentioned that.
Offline.
2:30. Fascinating slate at 2:30,
is.
Stricky. Georgia, Ole Miss.
Oof.
Ole Miss needs a win to keep its slim playoff hopes alive. Georgia loses this one after how unimpressive they've looked since Texas. Georgia might be on the road in the first round.
Facts.
Indiana, Stricky, 2-touchdown favorite over Michigan.
Well, shoot.
Look at those two programs going different directions.
That's what they've done. Now you've got to ask the question, was your boy the guy?
Sharon?
Yeah.
He was the fall guy.
I think he's the fall.
He's the fall guy. I've been saying that.
I hate that for him, man.
Yeah.
That's why you said you shouldn't have taken that job without the contract up front, because they set you up to fall. Could that be what happened? Let me stop. Let me stop. Let's move on.
Iowa State at Kansas at Arrowhead. Iowa State off a loss to Texas Tech last week.
They're looking for some redemption.
Cyclones number 17 looking to stay alive in the Big 12 race. Clemson, Virginia Tech on tap as well.
They sick to their stomach right now.
Clemson, ooh,
sick.
They got run over, through, and around by the Ville.
They are sick to their they had it and they sick because right now
it's
the
SMU
ACC,
Miami.
I know.
SMU,
right?
The Ponies.
They were in place. They blew it. I'm disappointed. It's a trap game for Army, but I'm disappointed if Army doesn't make a huge leap. I think they should jump. If they win this game, I need them to be in the upper to mid teens. Because if they beat Notre Dame, they need to be creeping on the door of the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what anybody say.
Mm-hmm.
It's some bull junk.
Mm-hmm.
We giving rights to the veterans. They deserve it.
Go
well, they're not full veterans yet, but they on their way. But doggone it, we gotta put some respect on their name. Doggone the Black Knights. Okay, go ahead.
I was pulling for the midshipmen, but too late for that. That trade
they dropped the ball.
How about this though, Stricky? One of the late night games is Nevada at Boise State, and this is interesting to me because I go back 14 years ago. Now the game was in Nevada, not in Boise, but Boise is on the doorstep of potentially making the BCS championship game, or at least a New Year's Six bowl. Their kicker, who was the school's all-time leading scorer, missed 2 field goals inside of 30 yards.
Yeah.
And a top 5 Boise team gets upset by Nevada 34-31. Yeah, he missed a game winner from 26 yards out with 2 seconds to go in regulation. Then in overtime, missed from 29 to tie the game. I have vague recollections of watching that game and seeing him miss those 2 field goals. I don't think Nevada plays spoiler, but even if history doesn't repeat itself, it does rhyme.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boise right now is that 12th team, is that group of 5 champion that's in the field.
They're right there.
Nevada gets them. You're looking at Army, Stricky.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you, who's the bigger trap game? Is the bigger trap game Washington, Penn State, or BYU, Utah?
BYU, Utah cannot be a trap game. I know Utah's record isn't there, but
I think it's a trap game.
Stricky, that is an underrated rivalry. BYU, Utah football is like Kentucky, Louisville basketball.
Yeah.
It's
the records
killer.
don't matter, basically.
Throw them out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. Utah wants to spite BYU. BYU wants to stomp Utah. I think beating Utah would mean more to BYU even than getting a first-round bye in the college football playoff.
Wow.
That's how seriously I think they take that. But I don't think Penn State has a trap game left on its schedule, Strick. Host Washington, go to Purdue, go to Minnesota, and host Maryland.
I think Minnesota's a trap game for them.
Penn State has tripped up there before.
I think Minnesota's a trap game for them.
But what does Penn State have to look forward to? They're not going to win the Big Ten anymore, right?
Yeah.
I think Ohio State has a better record and the head-to-head at the end of the year. Penn State can't afford to look ahead a week. Penn State's got to focus 100% on every week.
Every week. They can't.
I'm with you with Minnesota maybe tripping them up,
if
though.
If they fall out of the top 12 late this year, Franklin's in trouble. But Cluster says, don't be so fast to look away from Franklin. He ran down his whole record and
It's
said,
really good.
It's
really good.
It's like hit the pause button, because where are you going to find something better?
Great question. Well, Penn State is basically where Nebraska was with Bo Pelini, but they have access to a playoff system now.
You saw what Sway said.
And of course, they're winning 10 or 11 games. I did not see what Sway said. Pop it up for me.
Here we go. Sway's.
What's he got for us?
This is what Sway said. If Donald Trump can get reelected, bring back Pelini. That was what he said. Bring back Pelini, dang it.
Dang.
That's wild. Wild thinking, Sways.
Man, I don't even know.
Like that would be wild, right?
Oh, my God.
I don't even think Pelini would want to come back here the way that Nebraska folks treated him.
No, probably not.
He probably wouldn't want to come back.
Is Nebraska ever going to honor one of Bo Pelini's teams, though?
I don't know.
Have him come back? We already passed the 10-year anniversary of him playing for the Big Ten championship, but obviously they didn't win it. You're not going to honor a Gator Bowl team. Not going to honor, because he was here in 2003?
Yeah.
You're not going to honor that team.
It's crazy.
I don't know, Stricky. How's Bo Pelini set foot in Lincoln for the last time in his life already? Probably.
I think so.
That's wild.
Bo Pelini might be sitting on an island somewhere. He might be good.
Hey, sip those Mai Tais, Bo. Missouri, on full fraud watch, they are 3-point home underdogs to Oklahoma, who's also fraudulent. But Stricky, I think the game of the night, if not the game of the day, the game of the night, Bama at LSU.
Yeah.
Tiger Stadium, Death Valley, under the lights. Loser is done.
Yep.
Winner's got a shot.
Some winners
got a shot.
Right. Winners got a shot. Losers definitely out of it.
Who you taking?
I might go with the Tigers.
Ooh.
And
is that because you're a Tiger at heart?
I just don't know if Alabama's. They're too up and down and shaky for me. Jeez, you just don't know which one, and maybe I'm just betting on the coin flip that this just may not be their week. Maybe it's not their time. Maybe the boar is not ready yet. Maybe it needs just a shot of adrenaline to get him going. Maybe they needed just a new quarterback. Whatever it is. I don't know. And I'm not totally sold on Nussmeier either. So
yeah, and he's been talked about as a top 10 pick.
I'm just going to be looking forward to watching it.
I'm used to not trusting LSU. I'm used to having questions and being, I don't want to say surprised by anything LSU does, but kind of surprised from time to time if they either have a really good game or a really bad game. It's like, oh, okay, I guess that's LSU under Brian Kelly, even under Ed Orgeron to some degree. I'm not used to not trusting Alabama. I'm not used to it. It's Alabama, but it's not Alabama. This is a different team. More importantly, it's a different program. It is not in the same place it was when Nick Saban left, right? They're looking shaky. Georgia's looking shaky, and I think that is a perfect setup for the first 12-team playoff. There is not a perfect dominant team in college football this year.
No.
There's not.
No.
There are plenty of talented teams, but one of these two teams, Alabama and LSU, won't make the playoff. And right now, Stricky, if LSU wins, I don't think either of them make the playoff. I could see LSU losing to Vandy and getting knocked out. I could see LSU losing at Florida. LSU, messing around against Oklahoma at home. I don't trust him.
Yeah, I don't.
I think Bama should win. I think Bama should make the playoff based on their schedule. But it's weird to say I can't trust them to do it.
That's a fact.
So let's take a break. We'll wrap things up with a short segment and get you to old school after this.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
The Rabbit Hole Bakery, located at 8th and Q in the Haymarket, is the ideal place for fresh breakfast items or desserts made daily. Cream puffs, cinnamon rolls, carrot cake, sweet potato, pecan cookies, brownies, blondies. Do I need to keep going? What about bread pudding with homemade bourbon caramel sauce? Stop by the Rabbit Hole Bakery at 8th and Q in the Haymarket today to satisfy your cravings. And if you're looking for larger group orders, they do that too. Order ahead on their website at therabbitholebakery.com today.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Is your phone system holding you back? We know how important smooth, reliable communication is for your success. Whether your team is working from the office or on the go, you need a phone system that keeps up with your busy day. At Hamilton, we offer business phone systems that adapt to your needs, making every call clear and every connection simple. Upgrade to a Hamilton business phone system where advanced features meet unmatched reliability. Are you ready to transform how you communicate? Better phones, better business. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
I can't believe I just scratched that card. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Kreekak, at 402-474-1173. If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? That feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios on O Street.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, wanting to thank you all again for your continued service. November is off and running. Check this out. Get up to $12,000 off or 0% financing on select new vehicles. We have great lease specials with new Trax and Trailblazers starting at $299 per month and new Blazer EVs leasing for $399. Great payments, discounts, and of course, 0% financing. So make that short drive down 144th Street or check us out online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All finance with approved credit, leases with $2,500 down.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? By placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Super short segment here. Stricky is on his way out. Stricky's important. People like to talk to Stricky. People like to meet Stricky. So we'll let him get on his way. Cupsker says that Paul Skeens and his girlfriend are guest pickers on College Game Day tomorrow morning. Not exactly how I would describe that relationship. Ellie, hop on the mic. Come on, you're part of the show.
Yeah.
It's Paul Skeens and Livy Dunn.
Exactly.
But I think really it's Livy Dunn and Paul Skeens. Like, she's still a bigger celebrity than Paul Skeens, isn't she?
100%. I didn't know who Paul Skeens was until Livy Dunn.
Okay, so that's an indictment on you, not knowing who Paul Skeens was.
Well, I've heard of him, but he wasn't like a big deal to me until Livy Dunn.
Who do you think has the better record tomorrow, Skeens or Livy, with their picks? You think?
It could go 50-50, but I'll put my money on Livy.
I really like that they're doing 2 guest pickers, especially those 2.
Yeah.
Ellie, I'm not going to lie. I thought that whole relationship was just a PR stunt.
No, I agree.
I thought it was so fake. I thought it was staged. It seems legit. They're cute together.
They are. I like them in public. I like seeing them in public. And especially because the relationship has gone on for this long. I'm like, okay, people need to realize that. I feel like when celebrities get together, it's like, okay, it's a PR stunt. But if they like reach a certain time in their relationship, they're like, okay, maybe this is real.
She's been so supportive of him in his baseball career.
So supportive.
I also didn't realize she was a super senior.
Yeah. This is
kind of crazy.
Senior year, yeah.
Ooh, here's a take. Livy Dunn and Paul Skeens are a better couple than Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Where are you at with that, Ellie?
Oh, that's such. I'm going to go Travis and Taylor over anyone, but that's just me, just because I like them so much. I like Livy, but I'm gonna do Travis and Taylor over anyone.
See, I'm taking Skeens and Dunn. I really
think that's because you like baseball more.
Potentially. I mean, I will say, credit to Travis Kelce for how he initiated that, right? I mean, that's been a lot to handle. It's absolutely been in the national spotlight. But I don't know. I think there's just something, like old school, old style kind of romantic about, they met in college.
True.
And, he's the Adonis, the built baseball guy with all the talent in the world. She's the, cute blonde social media influencer type who's also an athlete. I don't know, I just like their story a little bit more. No, that's not a knock on Travis and Taylor.
I just feel like Taylor and Travis are just more of a power.
Well, I would hope so.
And I like the power couple duo.
You do. You really do.
I do.
Are you still watching Bachelorette?
Well, they haven't had a Bachelor or Bachelorette yet. They had the Golden Bachelor. I didn't watch that though.
Yeah, that seems a step too far
it's
for me.
Dancing with the Stars season.
Oh, that's right. Any celebrities on Dancing with the Stars that I would know?
Danny Amendola?
Danny Amendola?
Yeah. He's on there. He's doing really good.
Wasn't Dwight Howard on there at one point?
He's still on there.
He's still on there. Okay.
Still on there.
Okay.
It might come to a shock to a lot of us, but he's still on there.
Anyone else you think I might know?
Alona, the rugby player.
The one that trucked those people?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
nice.
she's on there. The last Bachelorette was on there. The Last Bachelor. You don't watch Bachelor. I'm trying to think.
Over my head.
Yeah, I feel like those are the only people that you would know now.
Disc Golf Jake also says Paul Skeens' mustache is better than Travis's.
I agree.
Yeah. Kelsey's mustache, not.
But
he looks like a villain.
He has gotten like the hair. Like I think he looks great, and it's the girlfriend effect. It's the Taylor Swift effect. Just looks a little bit more cleaner to me.
Do Travis and Taylor last, or do we get a Travis Kelce breakup song in the next 5 years?
They're gonna last.
They're gonna last?
They're gonna last.
Ellie's calling her shot.
I'm calling it.
I like it. She's Ellie. Strick was on my left for the show. I'm Austin. It's been fun. Don't go anywhere. Keep it tuned right here to 93.7 to take it on your radio dial, or find our new stream on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube for Old School. Jay Foreman on the road. He will join me for hour 1 of the show. Don't go anywhere. This has been On the Block, brought to you by our great friends at Nebco. Old School comes your way in just a second. Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus from Nebco's beginning in 1908.